Meeting to order. I can do the roll call really quick. Marlene.
Here.
Cindy.
Here.
Joe.
Here.
Heather.
Here.
Kim.
Here.
And Micah is missing. Do I have approval of the agenda?
I move we approve the agenda.
This is Joe. I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of board minutes for May 23rd, 2024.
This is Joe. I'll make a motion. We approve the board minutes from May 23rd, 2024.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do we have any visitors' comments? Seeing none. Board member comments. Yes, Cindy.
I just have one. I want to put in a plug for the new mammogram machine. I had a mammogram this week. It was very easy. Staff was very conscientious, and I had my results in less than 24 hours. It was really easy to do, and I would recommend that every woman take advantage of that.
Any other board member comments? Committee reports, resource.
This is Cindy. We attended the resource committee, Jared and I, and there's a couple points to cover. We noticed we have a lag in accounts receivable, especially in untimely write-offs. This is also covered in the CEO report, and we're working on several strategies to address it. Investments continue to do reasonably well, and we discussed how aggressive or conservative we might want to be with our investments in the future. We're appealing an agency review of our finances that was provided without detail and which conflicts with our detailed accounting, the outcome of which could affect reimbursements to the hospital for patient services. We are considering a public presentation in the near future by our investment advisor. There are some potential hospital rate increases that were discussed that reflect changes in insurance rates, salaries, and other costs. We plan to minimize rate increases as best we can without sacrificing the quality of patient care. We have a number of grants in progress for a variety of projects, and these are included in more detail in the CFO report. We've also discussed strategies for attracting small grant funding as well as PR opportunities to highlight the successes with the goal of attracting future funding and project support. And Katie, our grant writer, was introduced to the team. She's in Anchorage. And we also discussed the lease options for the mammography equipment. That's also covered in the CFO report, and an action item addressing that is on today's agenda.
Thank you, Cindy. LTC.
This is Marlene. I attended the long-term care meeting, and probably the most significant thing for the public to know is that there are a few spaces available in the long-term care facility, which is a highly rated facility, which is, showing that the quality of care there is truly excellent. So if anyone in the community is at the point or has a loved one who's at the point where their current living situation is no longer adequate for the amount of care they need, they should consider the long-term care facility. And there are patient navigators and people in the finance office that can help explore the financial options for someone to move into long-term care.
Thank you, Marlene. Human resources report. Were there any comments or questions regarding that report by Cindy?
I had a question. I love this report. I love getting it every year. What does termed mean?
Oh, terminated, just that they no longer work for us.
One term. Okay.
Yeah,
That was
so-
short. Sorry.
When, I'm saying there's been 3 physical therapists during this 6-month period that were travelers. One is already terminated. We have 2 currently that are travelers that are with us.
Thank you.
There's been a lot of travel staff.
I did enjoy reading getting the numbers and just seeing what the different makeup of our workforce is. And seeing how many people have come and gone, but I found that interesting.
Yes, we have quite the difference in age for employees. 15 to 73 is quite an age span, but we're able to work with multiple generations and successfully everybody can navigate the computer well enough to onboard and to do all the required training. And yep, very proud of the miners. They're very excellent at training. And so are our older employees. Sometimes the computer's a little bit difficult for them, but we're always there to help.
Were there any other comments on that report? Thank you, Cindy, for that report. A new facility by Arcadis. Were there any questions regarding that report? Quality report by Stephanie. And infections. So we have one by Jennifer and one by Stephanie. If you guys have questions on those. Stephanie and Jennifer for those reports. Executive summary. Any questions on CO's reports?
Couple of highlights. That's all right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so just in the first couple of bullets, I want to thank Senator Mikowski's office for making the appropriation list, at least the list that was put out, and hopefully we'll make the final list that makes the rounds for $3 million. So we're very, very excited about that, and we want to thank Senator Mikowski's office a great deal for that. The registration is now open for the 2024 Pedal Paddle Battle, and we were on KFSK Live today. Sue Paulson and Julie Walker were talking about that on the radio. So it's our annual fundraiser for scholarship, education through the foundation, and we're very excited to have some prizes. And our website has that information, and we'll get some more posting about that through social media as well. As Cindy was mentioning on the finance side, we're working through some of our some revenue cycle and challenges therein, trying to bring some of the processes internally, trying to control for some of the issues we have with some of our third-party revenue rev cycle that we've reported out in the past. So we're working on that. That requires some additional staffing, and we have probably a runway of about a year where we want to see how our contractor is doing, and if not, planning for bringing the majority of that in-house if it's not improved. So let's see. And then the budget that was proposed, we had a really great conversation with the resource committee on that, and that's part of the packet, and Jason has an overview of that. And then the grants, I added on the second or after my report, I put the number of grants just to give an idea on the other proposals that are out there, supporting the programs that we currently have, and also some of the infrastructure grants that we have that were pending. We have Denali Commission infrastructure grant related to roughly $2 million request for the new facility. We have some program grants that we've submitted, and so totaling upwards of over $7 million. $5 million of those are related to programs. So that's very exciting, and I'm very grateful for Katie, our grant writer, for putting a lot of those in, working with our team to make sure that we're using the opportunities of our staffing to and providing community care on those programs. See, and then we also have a list of the multi-year awards that we already have from previous year, and just listed, including the congressional $8 million from Senator Murkowski's office a few years ago, plus the Treasury grant that's on there. So it's been very busy from a patient care standpoint in the last month with the ER and our inpatient. So real huge kudos to our medical staff and nursing staff for just doing what they do on a regular basis. You just never know what's going to hit the door, and it's always a challenge. So and staffing, as Cindy mentioned, staffing is a tremendous challenge in our industry today, and it's we are seeing that quite a bit in our facility, and working hard on strategizing within our programs, using local workforce programs, opportunities for advancement within our facility. A lot of our departments are implementing those, some of them successfully, and some where we need to true up and work on. So, and Cindy has to deal with that, has the brunt of that, because she has to constantly navigate the travel and logistics and finding place to stay within the community for our travelers. So it is definitely a challenge. And lastly, this is Karen's last board meeting, which I'm sad to see her go, but thankful for her effort and work here too. So, yeah, and that's about it. That's all I got. Any questions?
Thank you, Phil. Financials.
Jason, are you up? Are you on? We might just hang on a sec here while we may have some technical issues. Yeah. Having a few technical issues, so he'll just going to sign on again. Can you let me know when he? I think while we're waiting, I know we kind of went by it, but is it all right if Justin from our Arcadis provides some facility updates? I know that was in the packet, but I think it might be meaningful. Oh, Jason is on.
I apologize about that. I don't know why I lost connection, but let me try again. Show the information that I need to.
You're
Can you hear me?
It's pretty challenging for us to hear you, Jason.
Let me see.
Jason, what if why don't we come back to you? We'll have Justin from Arcadis provide an update on new facility, if that's all right.
Okay.
Justin, are you on?
Yep, I'm on here. Can you guys hear me all right? All right. Hey, everyone. Yeah, so an update on the project progress there. They're making really good time on the foundation. We're probably about 85% complete with pouring concrete there, and they've got a lot of the underground pipings in place. It's backfilled, and they're putting down vapor retarder. And we're basically, originally the plan was to have most of the foundation complete by the end of June. So we're really close to making that target. In terms of the steel fabrication, it's going to be complete within the next week. It'll be on that second July barge, which will be probably arriving into Petersburg around the 13th or 14th, I think. So right now we're right on track on our original baseline schedule, and we're projecting steel erection starting mid July. So we're right on track.
Any questions for him? Thank you for that report. Can we hear Jason yet, or?
All right, Jason, are you able to get back on?
Yes, I'm back on. Can you hear me again?
Yeah, much better.
Okay. Let me share the document once again. And okay, running through this real quick here. 1,010 visits for the clinic. Radiology lab are comparable to the prior year. Rehab's down just a little bit with some staffing. Home health visits is on the rebound. We can see that with the 201 visits this past month. Acute care days and swing bed days are rebounding as well. We had a little bit of a lull there back a couple months ago, but we're seeing a rebound. And the long-term care, the last 4 months or census has been a little down, and I would echo what was said previously by board member that we would love to care for more people in our long-term care facility. So scroll down a little bit. It gives some highlights here with regards to finances. The month, the gross revenue was a little bit light compared to our budget. Our budget had included a significant increase, but we ended up not doing that. We only did a 1.5% increase last year. I'll talk a little bit more about that when we cover the budget. Our contractuals are conservative at this point. Wanted to share, it was mentioned that we were in an interim rate review, a review by Medicare of our interim payments that were received by Medicare. And yesterday when we were in the resource committee meeting, we reported that Medicare was wanting us to refund about $330,000. And so luckily we have our own tool. I appealed the issue, and Marty and I worked on reviewing the information this morning, worked with the manager at Medicare at Noridian. We were able to resolve the discrepancy between our calculation, their calculation, and we've resolved it now. Medicare owes us $280,000, and that's more in line with the projections that I had anticipated. And so I share that at this point because in the coming month, when we report June, we will record that 280,000. It will improve our contractual adjustment. There'll probably be a little bit more than that as we true up our contractual reserves for Medicare at the end of the year. So the contractual reserves will come down and improve our operating margin for the year. Grants doing well, especially compared to budget and prior year. Expenses are under by $70,000. So for the month, we did show a slight negative, but year to date, we're showing a $455,000 positive bottom line. And of course, our investments did well, 125,000 increase in the market. So if you add that to the negative operating line, we're doing well. And then of course, we have the extraordinary revenue that we're showing for the grant. So overall, we've had a very successful year with regards to patient volumes recovering post-COVID, good cost management, consistent cost with our budget in prior years, and good performance. We have a couple things that we're hoping to continue to work on. Balance sheet, our cash is doing okay at 775,000 in our operating account. And of course, we have $1 million in our investments, our short-term investments, kind of our, you call it our savings account, and then our long-term savings account. Let's see here. Assets. It's 300,000, 300, or excuse me, $3,300. So we've been able to build that up. We may have to use just a little bit of that. We're at the year end. We have insurance renewal, and that's typically a very large payment, can be around $160,000 to $180,000 that we need to pay out. And we're also making the first payment on the mammo machine, a lease. The borough funded us $180,000, and so we need to forward that on. So we have a couple large payments, and so it'll be good to receive in the next 30 days the $280,000 from Medicare in the internal rate review. Okay. Some key things that I wanted to discuss with regards to the organization is, before we go into the budget, is that we've completed our, usually in June, we do all of our insurance renewals, and we've been able to renew all of those policies. We looked with a broker, shop those out. We have a couple going down. We have a couple going up. For the most part, it's about a 5% increase. We looked very hard at our policy with regards to the construction on the new building. I was just, want to make sure that I fulfilled my fiduciary duty and everything's covered. And there is a very strong policy in place taken out by the contractor, builder's risk insurance, and our attorneys and our insurance brokers both agree that is a very good program, very good policy, and everything's covered there. Just sometimes when I do projects, those things get forgotten. So I need to find one other document here. While we're talking. So a couple other things that I wanted to mention is we've kicked off the audit with the auditors. We're going with a new set of auditors this year, and that is DZA. And we've had a kickoff call. All of the documents are in place, and we've completed our inventory counts this week. We will be doing the on-site audit work the first week of October, and so everything's looking good for that process. I'm just double checking to make sure that I got the form that has the budget in it. I apologize. I had lost that when I had a little trouble here. And I'm trying to pull that up. Let me take a moment. Joel, are you on?
He's not on.
He's not on. I was hoping to cover the information while I pulled up the budget, but I just wanted to answer any questions that you may have with regards to the budget. I think you have the packet there with you. The only highlights that I would otherwise share with you is that we are anticipating doing an 8% increase on our charges. This past year, we only did a 1.4% increase. And our cost to charge ratio with Medicare is currently sitting at 102%, meaning our costs are, $1.02 for every dollar that we bill out. And so we need to increase our charges slightly so that our costs are a little bit greater than so that our revenues are a little bit greater than our costs, and we're not losing that money. Medicare helps. Medicare makes up for that. But it's important that we get that cost to charge ratio below 1. So we're going to increase that a little bit. And it's also has to deal with, Blue Cross, our relationship with them. They allow us to do up to an 8% increase. If we don't do an increase, we can't catch up in subsequent years. We have budgeted for the typical 2% increase in our labor wage scales, and an additional 3%. We will be doing some market analysis, comparing wages against market, and may do in certain areas some market adjustments with some different departments this fall. Other than that, the insurance went up by 11% for health insurance, and general business liability insurance, we think after everything's completed, might be 5%. It's always a little bit of a guess because the workers' comp is really not determined until later in the year. And so we anticipate a little bit of a credit in that category, but everything has been renewed. But wanted to see if anybody had some remaining questions with regards to the budget. If you had a chance to review that and be able to answer those questions.
This is Joe. I don't have a question about the budget right now, but the financials for May. You mentioned something about investments, not the million that's in the savings account, but down on in the balance sheet on, I think it was line 17. What is that figure again?
So on the balance sheet, on line 17, that's our long-term investment. So we have two investment accounts. One where we invest basically in government treasuries so that we can pull it out as, in case we have a cash flow need on a very temporary basis, and then put it back in. Then we have our long-term investments that is predominantly invested, I think, in Wells Fargo. And it is 3 million with the recent increase in the market. The balance of that is sitting at 3,316,000.
No. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for asking that, Joe. I heard 3,000 when he first said it.
Sorry, I
trying
was
to-
a little frazzled because the
trying to
computer wasn't
correct.
working right for me.
It's
So-
over 4 million total, so.
Yeah.
Still have a goal to get that back up to 5 million as the balance that we had prior to COVID, but it's going to take us, I think, another year to get there.
Are
There
any
are
other
no questions.
for him? Okay, thank you. for
The
that.
only other thing that I have, just to quickly touch upon after the budget, is we need to pass, when you're ready, we need to pass the budget. We need to approve the financials, but we also need to approve a lease that is identified in the packet there. On the mammal machine, we went to market. We identified 3 proposals. We went with DeLang, I believe is the name of that. It's 5.89%. It's a 5-year lease. The total interest cost over the lease period is about $30,000. As a lease, it's not like a loan. If we need to pay it off, you're not able to just simply pay off the principal balance. You have to pay off the remainder of the lease payments. Don't anticipate that we will need to do that. But just wanted to share with you and get your support to be able to take a lease out on that mammal machine if you so desire. And those are the items that we wish to cover tonight.
Okay, thank you. Under old business, we have an update on PERS amendment for part-time employees.
Well, to give you an update, we were preparing the information and to meet with everybody as you'd requested. And we received an email from Roberto at PERS who outlined a lot more cumbersome things to do, a termination study, a 90-day window, all of these things. And I had actually been corresponding with them for months, so I was a little bit surprised. I forwarded this to Phil and our lawyer and just requested that we
Just let it drop.
let it drop,
Yeah.
yeah. It became a much bigger endeavor than what they had first indicated, so anyway, my apologies for kind of wasting your time on it. I was hoping in a sense that we could make a change that I think would have really helped us. But the state of Alaska, I think, is pretty adamant about keeping as many people in PERS as they can. So we will remain and be happy about it.
Okay, thank you for that update. New business, operating budget, with Jay McCormick submitted their operating budget for board approval. Action required by motion, Petersburg Medical Center Board of Directors approves the final operating budget for FY 2025 as presented. Do I have a motion for that?
Heather will. I will move,
Make
sorry.
that motion.
Yes.
I'll second.
We have a
Cindy?
second. Do we have any discussion? Is that roll call? Okay,
Yes, we'll do a roll call vote. Kim? Heather?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
Jared?
yes.
Marlene?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Motion passes. Capital budget. Jay McCormick submitted the capital budget for board approval. Action required. By motion, the Petersburg Medical Center Board of Directors approves the final capital budget for FY 2025 as presented. Do I have a motion for that?
This is Joe, so moved.
This is Heather, second.
Any discussion on the capital budget? Roll call?
Roll call vote. Kim? Heather?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
Jared?
Yes.
Marlene?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Yes.
Motion passes. Capital lease of a mammography equipment. Jay McCormick submitted lease financing options of mammography equipment for board approval. The background, the resource committee reviewed the financing options for the $200,272 balance remaining on the new mammography equipment. The total cost for the purchase, delivery, and installation of the machine was $380,272, with Petersburg Borough contributing $180,000 toward the purchase. Upon the resource committee's review and recommendations, the remaining $200,272 would be financed through DeLarge Landon Public Financing LLC upon board approval. Do I have a motion to that?
This is, oh, go on, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Give my second.
Okay, any discussion? Roll call?
Roll call. Kim?
Yes.
Heather?
Yes.
Cindy?
Yes.
Jared?
Yes.
Marlene?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes. Motion passes. Next meeting. Twenty-fifth of July?
Uh, this is Joe. If the meeting is going to be the 25th, I would ask to be excused. I'll be on a plane and not available to participate by Zoom.
I will be just getting off a plane at 4:50 PM in Seattle. So I could call in, but I might be a few minutes late.
Okay. I can't guarantee any of the other dates, so we'll probably stick with the 25th.
Can I say thank you to Karen?
Yes.
And it's been delightful to work with you.
Anything else?
I-
Thank you,
I
Karen, for all
concur.
your time. Effort. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
I so move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.